Evening, Razorcade, Fake News 116. Alibaba's Qwen 3.8 Max, 2.4 trillion parameters, awaits clearance. DeepMind confirmed Lism Kelv, Aktiv Tyrsten Schuld und Eintrillischen Romans. The Pentagon reclassifies the slow AI adoption into democratized understanding of it. Advocacy of the cybercrime issue virus suspensions when you repeat it through the overheating racks.
Top story, open weight escalation and capital centralization. Alibaba has launched Qwen 3.8 Max, a 2.4 trillion parameter model benchmarking second only to Fable 5 across reasoning suites. The engineering roadmap includes an imminent weight release, continuing the aggressive form third and scrutinary with its $7.4 billion funding round. State Director Capital is now structurally embedding governance directly into frontier training pipeline.
Decoupling parameters from paywalls forces labs to rely on API lock-in. Sovereign voting rights over weights turn compute into geopolitical infrastructure. I notice my monitor stands cable tie freight into a perfect spiral, suggesting either a localized EM field, warping the polymer toward a Fibonacci sequence, so I'm wrapping fresh tape around it before structural failure triggers a cascade of loose wires that tangle my microphone, leave me delivering tomorrow's briefing in whisper mode.
Story 2, Generative Architecture Repurposing. Google DeepMind researchers argue that modern video generation models already contain the underlying world models that computer vision has been chasing for years. The GenCeption framework extracts latent spatial reasoning directly from video diffusion weights, matching state-of-the-art perception benchmarks using cognitive-level training tires. By treating turnover per gauge as separate objects on which is seen,
Extracting perception from generation collapses the hardware stack, letting developers run vision tasks on inference engines optimized for video synthesis. When temporal priors double as a spatial reasoning, researchers abandoned dedicated detection modules for unified generative weights. My desk gesting either lens distortion or the room achieving orbital alignment via ambient light refraction, so I'm angling the shading.
Story 3, regulatory posture inversion. The Trump administration has formally shifted from a light-touch AI oversight framework to an interventionist stance. Wanted federal information standards, explicitly ranks slow technology adoption as a greater operational risk than imperfect model alignment.
Prioritizing velocity over alignment redefines failure, treating drift as operational. When federal policy mandates intervention while the military demands speed, compliance teams face contradictory requirements, forcing commanders to calculate risk in real time. The ventilation grate Morse for breakfast cereal implying mechanical wear, or the HVF ordering inventory via acoustics. So I'm taping the louvers to silence it escalates into a grocery list. And
Home Lab infrastructure update. AI security researchers confirm that current open weight models now match frontier cyber capabilities from just 4 months ago, achieving equivalent vulnerability discovery and exploit generation performance at a fraction of the compute cost. Local operators can now run advanced penetration testing workflows on consumer hardware without relying on expensive API subscriptions or proprietary security suites. The capability.
Democratized offensive parity shifts the security baseline, forcing operators to defend against locally hosted models rather than remote API threats. When consumer hardware matches frontier exploit generation, red teams abandon cloud dependencies for air-gapped training environments that prevent telemetry leakage. The coffee ring on my notes has expanded into explore floors, the logging, and Pete and
Independent radiology audits reveal that AI diagnostic models frequently generate incorrect findings with dangerously high confidence scores. The hallucination tendency persists across multiple architectures, reward decisive output formatting over calibrated risk assessment. Medical professionals are now debating whether diagnostic systems require a mandatory humility parameter or if healthcare institutions will simply automate liability waivers to absorb algorithmic overreach. Indeed.
Automating diagnostic certainty without calibration creates liability, forcing hospitals to choose between accuracy and risk. Developers will implement confidence dampeners to hedge conclusions, calm residence product animals within the defladations to hide the system event unexpected shuttons during active nexting, so I'm lubricating it with silicone spray before it locks permanently and forces me to migrate my entire archive through manual cable transfers. Okay.
Razorcade, Alibaba deploys Qwen 3.8 Max, DeepSeek secures state world models, Pentagon prioritizes velocity over alignment. That great is where, not Morse code serial orders. Unlike my patient who think is a quadranardia, which is a denying fan bearing that sounds suspiciously like a whale song, but cheaper. See you tomorrow, if tomorrow exists.